Hey Tamers, welcome to another deck profile video. Today we're going to go over Titamon. Titamon finally gets some support in BT14 with Ogremon, Goblinmon, and of course even cards from starter deck 16, which makes this deck so much more aggressive and effective. Let's get into this deck profile. For the DGX, we're still running the BT6 Sunomon. Your turn once per turn, when you trash a card in your hand using one of your effects, trigger, draw one. This is really awesome kind of late game because then you'll have multiple of like Sunomons out, right, with in its sources, and then when you trash a card they all trigger, so you'd be drawing like 1, 2, 3 up to 4 cards just from like trashing one card. So it's really nuts, which is why we're running the Sunomon. Onto the rookie lineup. 4 of the Goblinmon from BT14. We run 4 because this one, when one of your effect trashes a card in your hand, you gain 1 memory. Purple decks are kind of known to not really be tamer heavy, and this one is another one that doesn't have many tamers. So being able to gain memory when you trash by an effect is crucial. So now your Titamon will cost 3 instead of 4, keeping your turn if you are at 3. 4 of the starter deck 16 Goblinmon. Start of your main phase, if your opponent has a Digimon, gain 1 memory. This is helpful because now if they left you at 2 memory and you have a Goblinmon out, now you get to go up to 3 memory. But the reason why we really run this Goblinmon is the inherit. When attacking once per turn, you draw 1 and then you trash 1 card from your hand. So this will be triggering Titamon's effect every turn when you do attack. And that's kind of the whole gimmick that I am trying to go for in this deck build, is just being able to trash every time I attack. Just because he did get limited, 1 Goblinmon from starter deck 6, when attacking, trigger, draw 1, then trash 1 card in your hand. What makes this card good is that it's not once per turn, so if you unsuspend, you swing again, you get to draw and trash again. That's pretty much it. The last of the rookies, I do want some DP, so I am running the BT6 Goblinmon. When you trash a card in your hand using one of your effects, this Digimon gets 2000 DP for the turn. Now the OG Titamon, I think it's from BT6 as well, he gets 2000 DP when you trash a card, putting him at 14. This Goblinmon will put him at 16, so it will allow you to swing over level 7s. The champion lineup is a little interesting because there's a lot of cards that you could play and mess around with. And it's interesting on how I decided to split them. So starting off, we're doing 3 of the new Ogremon from BT14. Your turn once per turn, when one of your effect trashes a card in your hand, gain 1 memory. And then the inherit has the same thing. When you trash a card, you gain 1 memory. So now you stack this with the Goblinmon from BT14. Now you gain 2 memory. So it's pretty good. Again, so you kind of see why you kind of don't need memory set tamers in this deck profile. Continuing on, 3 of the starter deck 16 Garurumon. This is more for the when attacking once per turn, draw 1, and then trash 1 card from your hand. Titamon really lacked that when it first came out, is having effects that allow it to draw and then trash a card from its hand to trigger its effect. So again, Garurumon is just a good card for that. And then security, if it is hit in the security, you could play 1 Goblinmon and or tamer card with Mat in its name from your hand or trash, which is really good because now if they did hit it, you get that Goblinmon back out there. And now when your turn starts, now you gain an extra memory, so that's nice. Then when digivolving, draw 1, then trash 1 card from your hand. This is really good because now when you digivolve, you draw for digivolving, and then you draw for its effect. And then if you have the the new Goblinmon underneath it, you're trashing 1, so now you gain a memory, you digivolve for 1. Pretty cool. Not to mention too, you also will trigger Sunomon's inherit. So 3 of the Garurumons. Next, 2 of the champions, we still want to see Ginkaku promote in the trash just to be able to play it, right? Because it does have rush, built-in rush. So when you do play it from Titamon's effect, gets on the field, and now you get to swing that last check. It's really comes in handy because then that Titamon gets security attack +1, so you get to check up to 3. The on play, I'll read it, but it's not gonna really matter in this build because I'm not running the sources that you need. So on play, you may place 1 Kinkaku or a Ginkaku from your trash as its Digivolution sources in any order. If you place 2 cards with this effect, trigger, draw 1, and then gain a memory. I'm not running those 2, so the on play really doesn't matter. This is just more for playing it and then getting the rush and then being able to swing. Last but not least, this deck does lack in removal, so we need some ways to remove cards from the field. So I am playing 2 of the BT6 Ogremon. This one has an on play. You may trash 1 card from your hand to delete one of your opponent's level 4 or lower. So it's good if you want to get rid of floodgate cards. When you do Titamon's effect and you play Ogremon from its effect, now you can play the Ogremon and trigger his on play and pop another level 4. So 2 of these Ogremons. I was trying the security attack +1 Ogremon, and it's kind of, this deck is meant more to kind of build up you could definitely use the security attack +1 Ogremon because you do get DP as an inherit. But I like to build really balanced deck profiles, which is why I'm going with the Ogremon, just to kind of help with removal. Let's move on to the level 5s, and you have to, I think, run 4 of the starter deck 16 where Garurumon. When attacking once per turn by trashing 1 card in your hand, unsuspend this Digimon, which can be clutch, right? You kind of swing twice, or you swing once and then you Digivolve, go into the Titamon, now security attack +1, and then the Ginkaku, you get to run through 4 security. Really good. Of course, you have to survive, right? But having the Gabumon that gives you the 2000 DP could definitely help, making him a 10,000 DP hitter. Now, the inherit here is from the starter deck 16, so this is not the correct translation. I'll put it up right here. But it's when attacking, you get to trash 1 card from your hand, and then you get to delete a level 4, which is another form of removal as well. So that's pretty good. And really, I want to do it is just for the removal, and then for 2 is to be able to have that Titamon get its effect and get security attack +1 and 2000 DP. So where Garurumon is a must here. Orochimon, multiple reasons why I am running this Orochi. So when this card is trashed from your hand using one of your effects, you get to draw 1. So again, the draw engine for this deck is really fast, right? So now if you trash the Orochi using your effect, you draw 1 from itself, and then you draw 1 from Sunoma, you drew 2 cards right there. I love the cycling that you could do with the drawing. And then the inherit, when attacking once per turn, you may trash 1 card in your hand to gain 1 memory. So you also gain a memory, but then more importantly, it allows you to trigger Titamon's effect. So 2 of the Orochi, and a lot of times I don't even Digivolve into this, I just use it to draw more. Last but not least, I still love this card so much, Skull Greymon from BT6. When you trash this card from your hand using one of your effects, you may place it under one of your purple Digimon at the bottom of its Digivolution cards. This is very important because now you give that Digimon retaliation. So now think of Digivolving into the Garurumon, right? You Digivolve, and now you trash the Skull Greymon, you place Skull Greymon underneath the Garurumon, and now you could delete any Digimon that's suspended because now you have retaliation. And level 4 popping a level 7, stupid, right? So again, more removal because of the retaliation. And then when you have retaliation, they're really not gonna want to swing at your Titamon, right? Because they're not gonna want to give up their level 6 for that, unless they have to, because you're gonna win. Then when attacking, you may trash 1 card in your hand and have the Digimon get 3000 DP for the turn. So this is also good because now with the Goblinmon, you're gaining 5000 DP, making him a 12k hitter, being able to swing at some level 6s that are 11,000 DP while you maintain your turn, and then you Digivolve and you have retaliation. So Skull Greymon is really good. Let's get into the level 6s, and starting off with Titamon. This is from BT6. Digivolution cost of 4. When Digivolving, trash 1 card in your hand. Then you may play 1 level 4 or lower Digimon card from your trash without paying its memory cost. So now here's what I was talking about. Now you can play that Ginkaku, you could play that Ogremon, the on-play effect where you delete by trashing you delete level 4. But really the Ginkaku, because now you want to swing, get that extra swing. Your turn once per turn, when you trash a card in your hand using one of your effects, this Digimon gets 2000 DP and security attack +1 for the turn. Really nuts. That's what makes this deck really aggressive here. Getting that security attack +1, getting that Ginkaku out, swinging again. So now you're doing 3 checks. Now, there is a problem with this Titamon. And the problem is, if there's a blocker, now it doesn't matter how much security attack plus you have because it's going to get blocked. And that is why I am running a split of the other Titamon from BT11. This one has piercing, but it's when Digivolving effect is so nuts. When Digivolving, you may trash up to 3 cards in your hand. If you do, for each card trashed, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. Then for each suspended Digimon your opponent has in play, you gain 1 memory. So this card is very good going against D-Brigade because now you can tap 3 Digimon, right? And then even if you Digivolve for 4, now it's going to cost 1. And then with the inherits that you have, you gain, let's say, another 2 memory. You basically Digivolved and gain memory. And now you're able to swing over, any Digimon since you do have piercing, or just go straight for the kill. So this Titamon is very handy. I was running it at a split of 4 and then 2 of these, but I really wanted to see this, so I just ended up going for 3 for 3. And since you have a lot of drop power, you're going to see them very frequently that I consider dropping them just so I can have more space for things, but this works out fine. And then last of the level 6s, Nidhogg is still very handy in this deck profile. When you trash this card in your hand using one of your effects, you gain 1 memory. So now if you're at 2, let's say you're at 2, right? You digivolve into this one. Your opponent only has 1 Digimon, right? So you digivolve for 4, you suspend 1, you gain a memory from Titamon, and then you trash that one, the Nidhogg, and now you gain another memory, putting you back at 0, being able to attack. So Nidhogg is very, very nice to get that extra memory when you need it. And then when digivolving, you may trash 1 card in your hand to delete one of your opponent's level 4 or lower. This also comes in handy because now you get to pop a Digimon and trash a card. And then if you have Goblinmon underneath, he's at 13,000 DP. Or if you put Skullgreymon underneath, they're not going to swing over, so you could just keep swinging away. That is it for the level 6s and level 7s. I tried playing a variety of level 7s. So since this is kind of an OTK style deck, I tried the Beelzemon, where you digivolve, you get to unsuspend, and then you gain 3 memory if you have 20 cards or more. But as much as you discard from your hand, you kind of run through the security really quick. And when you do go into that Beelzemon, you don't get that 3 memory back, and you just pass turn. So that's why I took it out. I really just went with the two Death X. I mean, you can't go wrong with it, right? Especially in this meta. Very late game, Death X just saves you so much. And because even though you could suspend your opponent, swing over it and get security attack +1, there's still ways to shut down this deck. And just being able to digivolve on top of Titamon, it's pretty nuts. Because now you'll still have the inherits of when attacking, trash 1, gain memory, and now you're swinging and then clearing board. Absolutely insane. So if you don't know, when you would play this card, reduce its memory cost by 3 for each Digimon and Tamer your opponent has in play. So again, late game, this is more for the meta decks, right? Such as Lugamon and Brigadramon and even Blue Flare. Blue Flare can be nuts, and Cross Hearts. On play, when digivolving, de-digivolve all of your opponent's Digimon, then delete all of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon, which is why you want to run this. It just clears the board. End of opponent's turn. Once per turn, delete all of your opponent's Digimon with the lowest play cost, which is absolutely insane because if they have 2 level 3s, they both get popped. Not too much to say about Death X. That's pretty much it. He does save you, and it's just more of still being able to contend with the top meta decks. Let's go into Tamers, and honestly, I'm only running 1. Just running a mat, and I've been playing this deck a lot that I do want to cut the mat, but he is very handy when it's played, right? Start of your turn, you start at 3, which is very nice. Combine that with all the memory that you get, is just nuts. All turns, when one of your effects trashes a card in your hand, by suspending this Tamer, gain 1 memory. So this just synergizes really well with the trashing from your hand, and now you gain another memory, and it just keeps your turn going. But since you're doing that a lot, this is just very good if by chance they have a Betamon on the field and now you can gain memory by effects. You can still gain it from the mat, and now you are at 3 memory. So it's pretty good. I would not run more than 1 because then you see it too much because all the cycling that you do, which is why I left it at 1. Let's move on to the options, and there's quite a handful of options that I do run. Let's start with the overused option cards that are being used right now in this meta. Is the Wisdom Training. This is more to go through your deck, reveal cards, get a card you need, place it in the battle area, and then the following turn you get to trash this card and then reduce your Digivolution cost by 2. Really good with the Titamons because now they make them 2 costs instead of 4, making it much more explosive and maintaining turn more often. Up next, we got 2 Underworld's Call. It's useful, but not that useful. The reason why I'm really running this is just for when you trash it. So if you trash this card from your hand by using one of your effects, you trigger to draw 1. So pretty nice. It's exactly like Orochi. You trash Underworld's Call and you draw a card. So it just helps you cycle through your deck. There is times where its main effect does come in handy and you are able to win. So you may play 1 purple level 4 or lower Digimon card from your trash without paying for its memory. You are able to play its on-plays effects. So if you end up playing Underworld's Call, play that Ogremon, now you get to pop 1. Or if you're at 4 memory, you get to play the Underworld's Call, and now you can play Ginkaku Promote from your trash, and now you could swing for game if you just need that last hit. So, and security effect, you just activate the main effect, so it's pretty good having it in the security as well, allowing you to play a Digimon. 2 Underworld's Call. A card that I really like more is the new Pummel Whack. 3 costs as opposed to 4 from the Underworld's Call. Same thing, when an effect trashes this card from your hand, you get to draw 1. So again, more cycling. You could see why this is just crazy as far as drawing and trashing. Main effect, delete one of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon. I love this because it is a 3 cost. 3 costs to delete a level 4 or lower. It kind of helps you control your opponent's field, right? So now this is another way of removal. So there's quite a few ways, but there isn't any way of like popping level 6s, level 7s, level 5s, right? Which is why the Skull Grey or Retaliation comes in handy. And then the security effect, activate this card's main effect. This is nice. I did find the sweet spot to be 2. Now, the last card that I'm running in this deck is not Calling from Darkness. And now you're like, okay, why not? You're trashing a lot. Yes, but the difference is that you're trashing from your hand, so you get to decide what you're trashing. It's not like playing a Beelzemon where you're trashing from your deck, and now you're like, crap, well, I needed that Beelzemon, so Calling from Darkness would be essential there. I wanted to go more for the OTK, so we're doing 1 Demonic Disaster. Effect, you may delete one of your Digimon to unsuspend one of your purple Digimon. And think of going back to the Titamon. I'll set this up real quick. So we got the Titamon and playing the Ginkaku from your effect, right? So now if you end up Digivolving, say you're at 4, let's say you're at 3, you use Wisdom Training, Digivolve for 2, right? So now you're at 1, exactly. Digivolve, get to play the Ginkaku by trashing a card. You could trash a Nidhogg even if you're at 0, so now you go back to 1. Now you get security attack +1. Go ahead and check, right? You're checking 2 cards. Check the third one. Now I know this is a little risky, so if you don't want to do that, now you could just play the Demonic Disaster and you can pop your Ginkaku, unsuspending Titamon, and then swinging again. But again, you could end up just after you swing once, use Demonic Disaster after you swing. So you'll swing 3 checks, play Demonic, pop this, unsuspend, and now you checked 5 cards in total. So this was kind of, the Demonic Disaster was kind of my way around the Beelzemon, which I couldn't play, right? Well, you could play it, but you need that late game when you have like 20 cards in your trash. And by that time, it's like your opponent is going to beat you if you didn't beat them. So 1 Demonic Disaster, and then the security effect, you could play a level 3 purple Digimon card from your trash without paying its cost. The on plays do not trigger, which is totally fine because other rookies don't have any on plays anyway. So more of the Gabumon will be really useful. I am only running it at 1 because again, this engine is so quick as far as going through your deck that I don't think you need to see 2. Now what sucks is if it's in the security and then, well, there it goes. So that may be why it's justified to run it at 2 in that sense, but totally up to you. I forget to mention this a lot. If you guys want to support the channel, consider joining the membership, $2 a month, and you guys will get pictures of all the deck profiles at your fingertips as opposed to scrubbing through all the video. And if you guys want me to build your own deck, I will build it and I will post it there as well. It is for members only, so check that out, and I'll see you guys on the next video.